This was the defining image of India's COVID response. Millions of migrant workers fleeing cities on foot and walking days to reach their villages hundreds of miles away as the country went into a lockdown with just 4 hours' notice in March. 9 months later, many have had no choice but to return to the city. Unlike before, they're now barely making ends meet. Reval Gupta, who sells betel leaf on the street in central Mumbai, is one of them.
It took me 6 days initially on foot, then on the back of a water tanker and a bus to reach my village in Jharkhand. There was tremendous hardship. I did swift business of 4,000 to 5,000 rupees before the lockdown, but now that I'm back, I barely make 1,000 to 1,200 rupees a day.
Gupta's story is illustrative of the uneven nature of India's post-lockdown recovery. While some parts of the economy have seen a sharp rebound, car sales are up and factories are producing more goods, some haven't. Many workers have lost their jobs and low wages have been driven down even lower. India's growth had seen a sharp slowdown even before the pandemic hit, and the virus has now left a deep scar that's unlikely to fade anytime soon. Those most affected are in the country's vast informal sector, which accounts for half of India's GDP and employs 9 out of 10 workers.
Workers in the informal sectors have been hit a lot more than formal sector workers, so the gap between the have and the have-nots might actually widen in this particular cycle. This is important because it does mean that the durability of the cycle is sort of on shaky foundations.
Stimulus measures to boost the economy, less than 2% of GDP, have been among the smallest in comparison to other major global economies. The government has provided little relief to people like Reval, who's now struggling to pay rent for his little street-side business. All hopes are now pinned on a vaccine. How quickly India can vaccinate its 1.3 billion people will ease the strain of the pandemic, but it's not a cure for the ailing economy. Nikhil Inamdar, BBC News, Mumbai.